I know, change is difficult. New angle, new seat, new me. But the same sim racing stewards, complete with the requisite caffeinated beverage.
You've got wheel damage.
Yes, welcome back to Sim Racing Stewards, the series where I go through the Sim Racing Stewards subreddit and try to determine who's at fault from the clips posted. Before we start, an obvious shout out to the guys over at GT Omega. Look at this, slightly hairy Jimmy Broadbent limited edition rig. And if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these awesome rigs, you can sign up down below to be notified of when they go live on the website. And right now, GT Omega having their extended Black Friday sale. So again, if you're interested, my affiliate link is down below in the description. First clip, guy called me an idiot after this. My son? I'll be having words. There's just nothing like a sudden stop, is there? Yeah, this is a good angle to have. We rarely have this angle. I mean, maybe only just alongside, you know? I mean, you're not quite at his door yet, but you could argue that's enough room. I think it's a bit optimistic, you know, because you're offline, you're going to the corner the same speed as the guy who is online and taking the corner normally. Even if there's no contact there, you are going to be hitting him at some point during the corner, unless he gives you a huge amount of room. I think you're being a little bit optimistic there. I would place the blame on the Genesis driver. I don't think you're an idiot. I think you just maybe thought you had more space than you did, because look how this corner comes round, you know. If you're right on the extreme inside and full gas, this GT4 car is not going to make that right-hander like that. And you've got a car on your outside who also is there. I think what you should have done maybe is just try to like get in his mirrors a little bit, force him offline, not like how you did here, and then just try and get him on the run down to the hairpin. I think trying to overtake here was a bit short-sighted. Yeah, I would place the blame on the Genesis. I'm relatively new to F1, and I need some input on this. What input you shall get. Oh, I can't believe it's Bungus Gape, renowned F1 driver. And right now, where I paused it, Bungus, where are you going, brother? So far, you're being a menace. Sauber in front is defending hard though. I mean, you're both all over the place. Here comes the rest of the field. Sauber's waiting for us. No, he's killing everyone. Gotta love a bit of desperation. Oh my word. And there's more? I saw that coming. He spun. Right, listen. You're both being idiots. Mr. Bungus Gape, where are you going at the start of this video? You're just driving off the circuit, you're weaving all over the place, you're hitting the back of the guy, you're hitting him in a straight line, then Mr. Dark Horse is weaving on the straights in front of you, and then... Oh, it's just... This F1 5-lap open lobby racing is just not the place to practice any sort of racecraft. If you're going to go in there, just prepare for the end. I would sentence you to some sort of punishment, but you're already in hell, so things can't get any worse. This all clearly isn't allowed, right? So we're in a McLaren. I think this is the new Mexico GP circuit, using an interesting version of the track limits here. This McLaren very, very often going super far out wide, it seems. Well, at least the line is consistent. Give them that. Using everything. I think what's embarrassing for this guy is that although he's obviously extending the circuit quite a bit, he's not actually gaining on this BMW, who is just taking the normal line. Oh, he's gone for the...
Eres un inútil.
If ever you're involved in a crash and someone hits you with this quote, you just know they're automatically wrong. So yeah, I mean, on the face of it, it does look like this guy is just extending track limits massively. I'm not sure really whether it's okay or not. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not seeing whether he's getting the instant points pop up on screen. Now, iRacing allow you a certain amount of instant points. And of course, the number you get then dictates your safety rating, loss or gain for that race. But if you stay within the allocated amount, and you don't mind losing some safety rating, then you can sort of do this and there isn't really any consequence. It reminds me of the Spa 24 Hours a few years ago where there was no instant limit and everyone drove this way because they'd rather have a good result than have a good safety rating. This last move, however, yeah, DTM style last corner. So TLDR, basically if the game doesn't enforce it, then it's free real estate. But if a steward saw that, yeah, they'd get a slap pretty quickly. The BMW driver said that the blue Audi ruined his race because I broke in an unnecessary situation. What's your guys' thoughts on this one? Well, let's see what's unnecessary. So we're on board with the Audi, who is off-roading right now. Giga line through there. So we're at Monza. Crash in front. A little bit of a dab of the brakes from the Audi, which I think is fine. Is that what the problem is here? Oh, there's a huge crash coming up. Oh, and the BMW goes flying into the back of us. Let's have a look at this. So the BMW brakes for that situation, right? So the BMW acknowledges for that situation where a car is flying over the circuit is something you should probably brake for. Okay, let's keep that in our heads. Car in the middle of the circuit here. This guy does not lift, does not lift, does not lift. Goes straight into the back of the Audi. Wrecks himself. So I make a joke about this, but sim racers have this aversion to the yellow flag. You know, at this point, the yellow flag is 1 million going to be sent out because there is a car literally just sideways in the middle of the track, just hanging out. I think to brake there in that situation is completely fine. You're giving yourself time to react to the fact there's a car where it shouldn't be. This BMW behind is just like the worst sort of driver. Like nails it through every gap and then cries about it when they cause a crash because everybody else is doing the right thing. And again, we saw earlier on the BMW hit the brakes or lifted when they saw another car go across the circuit. So by that logic, they shouldn't have done that. But it's just stupidity. It's just some guy butthurt because he tried to cheat the yellow flag system and didn't get away with it. They said it was a dirty move in the Vodafone livery. Oh. It's a good move. It's a good move. Still breathing strong. It's a firm move. So this really depends on the series that you race in and how they define racing room. This is Watkins Glen, and I know, well, actually, you know what I don't know? You used to be able to go really wide out of this corner and not get any sort of track limit penalty. So this guy in the yellow here that is being shown the outside of the circuit by the Vodafone liveried car might still be within track limits. But for me, I think this move here is hard racing. I don't think you should be driving people off circuit, but because of the nature of this Watkins Glen T1 where you can run a little bit wide out here, I think it's okay. What do you guys think? Who is guilty? Me, the onboard camera, or the other BMW? Or maybe it's a racing incident. It's the one ultimate, it's Sebring. We're going down the T1, up the inside, bit late there, and we spin the guy in front, off he goes into the undergrowth. Oh, yep, checks out. It's a Valentino Rossi car. Nothing against Valley, but in sim racing, there are like 3 cursed liveries. If you come across either of these, you know you're going to have a band in your hands. 1, the Red Bull livery. 2, the Valley livery. And 3, the Bilstein livery. It's got bad recently, folks. But for me, it's just a little bit of a half-assed move. Like you're sort of just about alongside his rear quarter. I mean, he is taking quite a shallow line here, I must admit, but he's entitled to do that, and you sort of just run into the rear of his car. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I find a lot of the time when there's contact in that way and someone hits someone on the rear quarter and they spin, it's usually the chasing car's fault because they've put their car in a position where they're not alongside enough that they have side-to-side contact, but they end up having this really lazy, half-assed attempt, and this is usually the result. So I think, Mr. Kunstman, fortunately, that's your fault. A racing incident that happened in my league earlier today, people are divided on who's at fault. So at the Red Bull Ring, on board in F2025, I assume it is. Running around the outside here. Hard racing right now. Okay for me on the limit though. Alpine stays on the inside, doesn't block. We're going to try go around the outside. Alpine comes back to defensively, just about keeping their car there for now. Bit more side-by-side contact, and they're into the wall. What a shame. From the last lap as well. That was some good racing until then. So for me so far, I don't really mind the little bits of contact before that. I think that's just hard racing. It's the spin we're going to take a look at. So the Alpine actually gets loose, a bit sideways there on the way in. I mean, to be honest, the line of this Ferrari is kind of strange here because you tend to like run around the outside then sweep back in if you've gone all the way out to the outside here. Whereas I think they've just been a little bit off, put off by the fact the Alpine's there because they're ending their turning super late. The throttle application is really late here, and the Alpine's already on it. They're already gone. But then of course, I don't know if anyone's at fault. I'd place it on the Ferrari because they do have room to run alongside here. The Alpine has given space on the outside to this guy. Have they come across a lot? Let's have one more look at it. They're just sort of taking the line. They then go back over. Yeah, it's on the Ferrari because like the Alpine is facing away from this car when the contact happens. They're not the Ferrari makes the contact here. So I would put the fault on the Ferrari there. It's close. It's close to being a racing incident, honestly. But just that last little move there from the Ferrari, sort of onto the rear wheel of the Alpine, I think that's enough to seal it. I would punish the Ferrari driver to something, but again, Ferrari's 2025 season is punishment enough. Is this great defending or blocking? This is a 4x3. Hell yeah. Can't really see right now. We're in the Super Formula cars. These cars are great. Super underrated series in iRacing. Go and try them. They're really fun, really fast. At the Montreal GP circuit, it's kind of hard to overtake here anyway. So down here is where I think we might see a couple of attempts at blocking because we have a hairpin, then we have a long straight. Red Bull car is doing a good job of just defending, making this car wider than it needs to be. Using one move is how you should do it. Using our boost out of here. We're going to have a draft as a chase car now. Now it's going to be our best opportunity to pass. Rebel cars allow one move, goes to the left, which is allowed to do. Then goes to the right. There's a chance you could consider that a weave, but I honestly think he didn't like block the guy. He didn't stop your run at any point. But you just sort of sat there. You could argue he tried to break the toe on the straight, but I think that would still only be a warning because he didn't really affect your line at all. You're still full gas here. And he's doing what he has to do. You know, he's just sitting on the apex and you're turning in like he's not going to be there. I think it's right on the edge of weaving on the back straight because he does make more than one move. But the actual defensive move is okay because he makes a move, he stays there. He doesn't like crowd you out or anything. He just sits there on the racing line. I think it's actually some really decent driving from the Red Bull driver. Defensive driving is hard. It's really easy to do things like reactively and get it wrong. But I think it was good effort, just good defense. And when someone puts on a defense like that, you've got to do something a little bit different to get by them. I've received insults and death threats for this. This is going to be good. So we're in the one ultimate. We're driving down to Eau Rouge and Radion. We're in a P2. The guy behind's flashing us. Looking to try and go for the lead. Oh my god. So the number 18, the car chasing, makes a stupid move here. Like, I don't know what else he expected to happen there. And gets sent off into the undergrowth. So from my point of view here, this car is leading up here. Let's look at the overlap as we go into the left. Look at that. That is not an overlap. You're barely there, and then you're crying because you got collected and put into a wall. Mate, it's racing, for crying out loud. You're not entitled. People don't jump out of your way when you just stick the front of your splitter in. And if a dude's sending you death threats for this, you got to call that guy out. You got to let him know that behaviour is not all right, and it's not welcome in sim racing, especially when they're the one causing the incident. I get it, all right? Sim racing can be frustrating, but there is no excuse for insulting someone and then threatening their life over what is essentially a video game. But for the OP, you've got to report this guy with that context because he'll just get banned, and that's what that sort of behaviour deserves. There's no place for that in sim racing or any sort of competitive sport or esport. It's not okay. I thought this incident was pretty clear, but the green car disagreed strongly. Well, we're on board with the green car at Long Beach. I think these are the Indy lights. Lunge up the inside. Oh my god. Oh, the traffic jam. You love to see it, and it's there. I'm not even going to tell you who's at fault. I'm going to just pause it in one place. And now you can tell me who's at fault. It's like a classic last corner lunge at Long Beach. This hairpin really invites that move, but you run out of room so quickly on the exit. And what happened here, a traffic jam, it's so common in these races. I've seen so many of these races actually go live. Like on the start, due to iRacing's weird multi-class starting system, they'll go green here as people are flying into the hairpin, and it's just carnage. But yeah, green car at fault, 1,000,000%. There's no other outcome to that. Is this protestable? It feels like the guy just ignored the braking zone, then intentionally crashed to block me. Oh. That happened quickly. So what happened here? I mean, you're going pretty slow. I don't think your understanding of that is exactly what happened. I think half of it is what happened, but I don't think it's entirely true. So, we are gaining very quickly here. I don't know if this pink car is damaged, but the Aston Martin, really quick here. And he actually brakes about where you would brake normally, I think. Maybe the angle's a bit strange because of the fact there's a car here, but up until that moment, you're here. You then dive down at the last second to take the line. This gap that the Aston Martin was going to drive through is now gone. There's contact. And this guy's now basically just crashes out and decides, I'm done. I don't want to race no more. Puts it in the wall. Causes that. That one is on the Aston Martin. Yeah, he drove into the wall. It's pretty simple. But the way you manoeuvred your car on the way into that corner was pretty confusing. So we'll watch again from the Aston's point of view. Quite unpredictable. So if anything, I'd say the pink car actually caused the initial incident. But of course, no one really cares about that once you decide to be an idiot and then intentionally wreck someone. So it's why it's a good idea in iRacing to always have your relative up. It's F3 on the keyboard, and it just lets you know when cars are approaching, your speed differential, stuff like that. It's a very handy tool to have in sim racing because we don't have spotters. I know a lot of road guys have spotters on road courses, which is still foreign to me. But if you're not someone who's in the habit of checking their mirror, which you should, then the relative is a good idea to have. This guy said I brake checked him and then cut onto his line. I'm the red Nissan GTR. Terry Massano, all is fine so far. T1 here is a little right-left chicane. We're a long way back with this McLaren, so not really a move we made here. Oh. That was it? Really? Like, this guy literally just drives into the back of the red GTR. All that happens here. That's it. There is no way that's anyone else's fault but it's McLaren. There's no defense for the McLaren whatsoever. You've got to understand that, like, there are going to be times where you have to brake and accelerate a little bit differently to when you're just hot lapping on your own because you're around other cars. Easiest one in the video. Guilty. I sentence you to papaya rules. That was another episode of Sim Racing Stewards, guys. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe wherever it is, do all the good stuff. And if there's any of the instances that you disagree with my take on, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Take care, have an awesome day. See you next time.